Please welcome back to the Tamron Hall show, Cheryl Burke, who is celebrating a birthday, a new podcast. I mean, talk about the future. Happy birthday. Yesterday was your birthday, and you got this podcast. I love the name of it. Burke in the game. How does it feel to have all this going on now?
I mean, it's really a whirlwind, right, of emotions that are happening. Obviously, as you stated, I am going through a divorce at the moment, and it hasn't been easy. I have been really trying just to take a step back and really try and feel my feelings, and also, like you said, just move forward. And I do have a new podcast, Burke in the Game, which is really going to get the audience and listeners to really understand real emotions that I'm dealing with at this moment, and to also learn, from whatever you may call it, whether it's failures or experiences. This is going to be an experiment, Burke in the Game, where listeners will be very interactive. They'll be basically, my fate is going to be in their hands as far as, do I go on silent retreats, or how long until I should start dating again? And just like the everyday what we go through as women, I don't think is publicized enough.
Yeah, you mentioned the word failures, and I was very open for so long. I was hesitant to get married because I thought, okay, well, I did not want to go through a divorce. No one does, right? We know that. When you say I do, the plan is to stick it through. And I know that that's the reality. It sometimes doesn't work. But when you use the word failure, is that something that you had to yourself get past, the sensation of, wow, this didn't work and somehow I messed up, or how do you process that?
For me, failure, it really has a bad sound to it, right? But really, for me, there is no success without failure. I have been a competitor of ballroom dancing for my whole life, and I have failed more than I know I will ever succeed. But it's because of those moments that I learn and grow from that get me to where I am today. And it's just how you interpret it and whatever you're perceiving as what failure means to you. Yeah. It is important that also for me to take accountability, and this is what this podcast is also about. It's I can only point the finger at myself, right? Because you can't change anybody else but yourself. And I'm just slowly starting to realize that as well. It's been 37 was a year of just so much transformation and a lot of growth and curiosity, and I think that is the reason why I'm here today, really.
Yeah. When we spoke back in September, I started off by saying how impressed I was that you are always willing to share these vulnerabilities in your life. And here you are again. It was just a couple of months ago, you posted on Instagram that the marriage was coming to an end. And while you said at the time that you were asking for understanding and privacy, you also, as you said, wanted to be honest, because that's a part of who you've decided to be publicly, and I imagine personally as well. When did you decide, though, take me to the decision where you said, okay, gosh, I have to now post this. I have to not only deal with it personally, now I have to share it with everyone else. What was it like hitting send on that post, knowing that it was going to go public?
Well, it wasn't easy, but I think part of my work is to not just preach, but also practice what I'm preaching. And, if I'm going to be open, then I have to be open. And it's better that I say it than some rumors starting about, what was going on and why we got divorced. It's really nobody's business. And, as far as what happened, I'm never going to say anything as far as that goes. This is not what the podcast is either. It's not about the gossip behind my divorce. It's about growth. It's about, what I can do to be a better woman and just try to, continue to evolve and wanting to learn and step out of my comfort zone, really.
Yeah, and I think that's the key to your point. And I hope you always know that this is a safe space where we've talked about surviving childhood abuse. We've talked about sobriety. And now we're at this point where we're talking about a new beginning in your life as it relates to the marriage. And I know you said that you and Matthew tried very hard to make it work. What can you tell us about that process of where you're trying to make it work, but then acknowledging to yourself that it's time to move on? Did you try counseling together, whatever you can, and that you feel comfortable sharing?
Absolutely. I'm a huge advocate for therapy, as I've expressed on my Instagram and just in interviews as well. I truly believe in it. And I also, Matt and I, we were in couples therapy even before our marriage. I mean, it wasn't, I think people associate therapy with like, oh my God, there's a problem. But really, I think it's very healthy to actually have that third person there that's not biased and that can give you just ways and tools, I guess you can say, on how to communicate. And I don't regret any of that. I think that really was very helpful for both of us individually. I can only speak for myself and for me. I think it's very important because emotions sometimes and feelings can get in the way and can get maybe misconstrued. And so I'm a huge advocate for that. And we definitely did try. People evolve and people grow. And sometimes they grow together and sometimes, unfortunately, grow apart. So.